Hey, look out. It's Faith Talk Live. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
She's always on. There she is, comedian, mother, wife, and all the other stuff she does. Jennifer O'Brien. Jen, how are you?
I'm doing well. I told you I just finished putting this wall up behind me. So every time I come on,
Rick, how did you miss that?
Yeah. And then I usually take it down. So it's a lot of work to come on the show is what I'm saying. But anyway, it's worth it. It's worth it.
You must be handy around the house. I should give you the honeydew list that I've been given. I won't finish that list until probably about 3 years after I'm dead. So I'm going to pass that on to you to see if you.
I need one more thing on. I need more stuff. I need more stuff on my list. That's what I lack.
Are you good at spreading mulch, Jen? Because if you are, that's what it's one on his list.
Is that what it's coming down to? Listen, I got a garden in my back. Have you guys started your own little victory gardens? Because
I kill plants, so I don't do it.
Oh, then you're not going to eat come fall. Sorry, Dan. Sorry.
I'll come to your house.
Mrs. Probst wanted black mulch, and we have so much yardage to fill that I'm still going to the mulch place, picking it up in a trailer. Just about every weekend, right, Dan, and unloading it. Yeah. And I think she's really trying to kill me to get some type of life insurance policy. It's really not worth that much.
Although, well, every little bit helps, with inflation and all. She's like, it'll do. True. It'll do. Black mulch. Interesting.
Yeah. It's really pretty, actually, but it takes a lot of effort. And I'm not as young as I used to be. And so it's just like, it just wears me out. So I don't know. At what point I mean, there are times I ask my wife, why did we have children? Why do we have boys? I don't. What's the deal?
That's right. You need to put those boys to work is what you need to do. They need to step up to the plate. And start lugging that mulch.
Yeah.
Be careful. Little mulch.
We want to catch up with you here in just a few on your stuff. Now, I noticed something. You're like number 4 on the top 10 Creative Motion Network podcast list. I think we'll talk about that in a minute.
Look at you. Wow.
Hey, look at me go. Look at me go in that 4th spot.
But we want to play a little game with you. We haven't played games in a while, but we're gonna I have 10 questions down here, but we may not get to all 10.
Okay.
So, but I'm going to ask these questions. So I want you to be honest.
Okay. Honesty. Hey, that's not usually my problem. It's when
it's your hand on the buzzer. Get ready to go.
That's quite enough. We just asked how your day was. We didn't need to know so much.
All right. Who in the house, your house, is most likely to believe a conspiracy?
Oh my gosh. Totally me. Like no brainer on that one. Like it's to the point where it's like, usually they get downloaded on me and then I bring them to my husband and then I'm just kind of trying to see how his reaction is. And if he kind of goes along, I'm like, you see. But if there's a hesitancy, I'm like, okay, probably that one's too far-fetched, but definitely me, 100% me.
That's not even on my list. I thought I'd just throw that out there. So
you guys know where it's been at
because
for me
we know
the last
that
few
about
years.
you.
You know where I've been parking it.
We should do again. I know we've done this before. We've talked about conspiracies. We should do the gas conspiracy and the baby formula conspiracy and all those things and see if they're all tied together.
Well, I'm just letting you know, I mean, because of the baby formula, shortage, I am actually looking back, to getting back into nursing. So we'll see.
Make some
guys,
money.
I don't even need to finish the joke. You got it. So we'll see.
Okay, so those questions there, Rick.
Well, for a minute there, just for a minute, I thought, did she do nursing before she got into comedy? And then I got it.
2 kids. I did nursing with those 2. So
I got it.
I mean.
I got it.
I was following you.
This program is rated PG-13. Those that are under 17 are not admitted without parents.
We're trying to keep abreast of the situation here.
But look at those puns. Come on, Dan. Let's bring Robin on. We got the puns today.
Very much.
You know that's not my strength.
If you're from corporate and you're watching or listening to this program, this is the Kevin and Taylor Show. Welcome to the program.
We're trying to milk it for all it's worth.
Okay. All right, let's move along. All right, who's most likely to panic when they can't find their blank? Let's say cell phone, maybe keys. who's most likely to panic, including children? You have 2 girls, right?
Yeah. Yeah. One is not living at home. I would probably give that one to my husband. He tends to
Mm.
lose a lot of stuff. And
Does he and he panics?
he just gets all he just walks around till he finds it. And it's just kind of like, what is it? And then once I get intel and I know what it is, then I find it for him. I'm like, hold on.
Because
I
because
walk him
moms
through it.
have that sense. It's like you know
True.
where things are. I don't
We
know what it
do.
is.
We
Yeah.
do.
All
I
right,
coach him through it.
here's the most ridiculous question
Yeah.
on the planet.
Okay.
Well, where did you have it last? Where did you
Yeah.
leave it last?
Where did you
And
last have it? Well, if I
Yes.
knew that,
Right.
I
Like,
would know where it is.
I get that
Right.
question all the time, and I say, if I knew where I
know.
had it last, I would have it.
You got to
It would
coach
be-
him through it. Yeah, exactly. But I have to sometimes coach hubby through that one. I have to be like, well, hold on, you took a shower. And then, we just have to go through the train because he's like, I don't know. And then you do a little coaching. That's a coachable moment is what we call that.
Yeah.
It
And
is.
then usually we find those keys or the
Do you-
phone.
Do you ever
Or-
go back? Do you ever go back to birth and you were born and blah blah blah? And I mean, you have to go back.
Yeah, I
that
have
far?
to make him
Take it
lay
a bit
down on a
back.
couch. I put on some soft music and just follow the sound of my voice, and we're gonna find those
Yes.
keys.
You know
Yeah.
what? I'll bet Max loved the 80s, probably Kokomo, Rush, Journey, those type
Oh,
of.
he had a mullet back in the 80s. Like
Oh,
he's
wow.
full on metal band cheese.
Yeah, there you go.
Even some of the Christian like Striper he would
Yeah,
listen
yeah.
to. So
Yeah. Way to go,
along with the
Max.
Motley Crue and some of the other bands that look like women, let's be
Yeah.
honest. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
what was that all about back in the
Yeah.
Anyway, let's not even
Well,
should
and
we
now
open
it's
that
just
can of worms
normal,
this
so-
morning?
Yeah, way to go. Well, they identified as
Yeah.
something. Anyway,
Yeah. Anyway.
I did the same. I love those bands as well. All right, who's the first to change their mind when ordering off the menu of the 3 of you or the 4 of you if the other daughter joins you? Who's the most likely to change their mind and say, "Oh no, I want this."
Yeah. Well, I've been, because I'm a performer, I've been blessed to be in the food industry most of my career. Thank you. I've trained my daughters to like get in into shape. We don't mess when the server gets here. Like, you know what I mean? Like we don't mess around. We respect those servers. So I don't know. I think we've all been trained really well. We will.
Okay.
I would rather dismiss the server and say, "I'm so sorry, come back." But once it's time, now I have some friends. God bless them. You go out to eat with these ladies, and they're like when Harry met Sally, and they think it's
Get
cute.
this on the side unless you don't have
Yeah,
that.
it's a
then,
little
yeah.
much. And we're like, nobody thinks it's cute anymore, and you could
Yeah,
just see the
yeah.
server, and we're all in the background, like, so sorry, so sorry,
This is the
and
first time out in public. I'm
I
sorry.
know. So, but some women, we know what we want. So I don't really, when that would happen to me as a server, I just be like, hey, you know what you want. That's fine. Just speed it up, hurry it up. So,
Well, that leads me to this question, which is not
Mhm.
even on the list. When you and Max are driving and he says, where do you want to go to eat? And you say, I don't care. Let's go where you want to go. And then when he mentions it, then you said, no, I don't want to go there. Does that ever happen?
okay. So you want the real truth of how this family works.
sure.
Okay. We all have like food sensitivities and like, we're a nightmare. We're just a nightmare of a family to have over for dinner. So we're kind of limited on where we can eat and actually not react to the food and be like, oh man, maybe that was dairy because youngest daughter's dairy free. I'm gluten free. Now hubby can't eat meat. I mean, we're just a big
poor
ball of
guy.
fun, right? Like,
Oh.
yeah. And that's kind of been a new one. Like he, all of a sudden we think it's a tick bite anyway.
Yeah,
you can do some
I
research.
remember you bringing
Yes.
that up.
Yeah, so he got bit and then literally now red meat and now it's a thing. Like we keep finding these articles. So
Yep.
hopefully
I have a friend who had that happen. Yeah.
I know. So we're just a lot of fun to have out to eat. So we literally, it's like we have a very limited plate, like few places. And then it's like a lot of times I would prefer to eat at home. That's just where it's at.
Probably easier that way. Yeah.
Plus, Bill Gates is, putting stuff in the tomatoes. So let's just
There's
be
the
careful. Where are
conspiracy.
these tomatoes from?
Well, I was just thinking, and not to belittle what your husband is going through at all,
Yeah.
but it sounds like something vegetarian enhanced. there? Do you think
You
that's a
know,
vegetarian experience? Is that,
these days
I mean, a
there's just so much
conspiracy?
to be on the we can question so much, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm a big believer in blood types. He's a type A blood type, which are natural vegetarians. They tend to do well with a
Oh,
more
wow.
vegetable-based
Really?
diet. So who knows if it's just kind of already in his blood and then, you eat meat and eventually your body's like, I mean, he can have like poultry and things like that, but
Just not beef.
no,
Mm.
it's like a really bad allergy all of a sudden. So
My gracious.
that's something we just get to enjoy and ride that one out. That's the newest food aversion in the family.
That's
So
so unfortunate. I
I
feel
could
sorry
live with
for him.
that, but I'd be so miserable.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're working to try to heal his system so that it won't be like that. Possibly with enzymes, helping his gut have more enzymes to help break down the protein in meat. That's a whole nother story for another time. But yeah, so as you can see, that's what we're bringing to the table. So
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
we're talking to Jen O'Brien, comedian, wife, and mother, and so much more. And we're
And
asking her.
gluten-free advocate.
I have,
yeah.
yeah, there you go. I have 10, and she's got a book coming out very soon, Conspiracies and You, which we'll talk about at another time.
You know,
But I got a couple of more questions, and then we'll get into what's going on with you as far as
sure.
performing. All right, who usually laughs the loudest when watching something funny?
Oh, totally me. Like
Is
it's
it you?
almost like a scream. It's very it's disturbing for the rest of the family. I laugh really loud. Like when it's really funny, I don't know. Like I'm great to have in an audience. I really am. Like for comedians, like they want me because I'm as long as they're funny. Now I will fake it if I have to just to encourage. I'll do more clapping and I'll do more but
Yeah.
like if it's really good, I'm gonna laugh really loud. Because I do like to laugh. So
Now, are you one
definitely
of those
me.
that like that has the explode at the beginning and then you're real soft, or is it a continuous loud laugh, or what?
It's kind of a burst in the beginning, and then
It
it
is. Okay.
kinda it
Yeah.
maybe bursts several times. If it's
Yeah.
really
That,
funny,
that's
I'm
me
just
too. And then if it's really funny, I start to wheeze and cough. And,
oh, wow, okay.
yeah.
It involves an inhaler for you, Dan? Is
It
that what it is?
does.
You're like, "Oh, that's
My
good,
family's
that's
like,
good.
"Are
Let
you
me inhale it."
okay?" Yeah.
Yeah, my husband does this funny laugh where he tries to and it gets all in the chest, but then he literally, like, does it to where he has to, like, catch his breath. He coughs, and then it's water is needed, and I'm like, "Please don't do that funny fake cough again. It requires attention and too much."
Wow.
That's
Mm.
interesting. And you being a performer and you've performed for years, you've heard all kinds of laughs. Has there ever
Mhm.
been a laugh that you were like, okay, that can't be real?
No, no, well, no, when you're performing, you're grateful for any laugh, really, and like, "Oh, thank God they're laughing."
Yeah.
So you don't care if they're fake or not, you just wanna
Yeah.
hear it. Um, but I will tell you, my sister also has an obnoxious laugh, and I appreciate when she comes to my shows because she will also laugh really loudly,
Yes.
very similar to mine, and I'm like, thank you
Now, can
for"
you imitate her
I was
laugh?
going to
Can you
say,
do
can
it?
you do that? Do that
Um,
laugh.
it's almost a scream, and you know what I mean? I don't know if these mice can handle it,
Yeah, maybe
so
back off a little bit, but yeah.
but I don't know, like, it's simple like, we're like, "Ah!" It's like it's
Ah,
really
I've heard her
boom.
laugh like that.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I don't think
okay.
we even got it from, like, my mom, like, I don't know where we both got this r like, I do recall before like, one time we were in a movie theater and we were both watching I think it was, like, some Shaun of the Sheep, it was, like, this, claymation,
Yeah.
Mhm.
where and we had taken the kids to, like, the movie theaters, it was, like, during the summer. So, it was really, like, not a lot of people in the theater, but my sister and I with her kids and my kids, and this was years ago, and I promise you, I think nobody could probably watch the movie because we thought it was the funniest thing, and we were both just like, "Ah!" And just like, I don't know, like, I thought it was the funniest movie I ever watched. I don't know if it was sitting next to my sister, and we're both just like so, I don't
And your
think
kids
anybody
were
else
both like,
enjoyed the movie
oh
but us.
god, no."
Yeah, I we might have ruined it for everybody
Yeah.
else, but, we had a good time, and,
Yeah.
that's all that matters. So
Exactly.
Jen O'Brien with us. All right, I'll save these other
okay.
questions for another time, but
Yeah.
we just kind of flowed with that. That was so good.
So
I enjoyed every single second. All right, catch us up. What's this number 4 in the top 10 creative motion network
Network,
thing that I saw on your
yeah.
Facebook page?
So that's a channel on Roku TV, and it's basically they just have different podcasts, or like my show's kind of a podcast video, kind of like what you guys do here, although I'm not on the radio. Um, but yeah, he has different people that have different shows. The Creative Motion Network does, and then they have the Roku channel, and then I guess however they list. So during the week, you know, whatever the nut wherever you rank this week, I was ranking at 4. So
Wow.
Awesome.
How
yeah,
cool is
so
that,
it's
right?
great. It's just getting your stuff out there, and so we have it on our Roku TV now. It's the Creative Motion Network. You can download it. You know, you can just like put stuff in the queue if you have Roku TV.
I don't
You
have
can do that.
Roku, so yeah.
I'm so sorry, but
I know
Yeah.
I know we do, but I don't know how to operate it. I'll have to ask.
well, that's all hubby. That's my husband. He's the
Get
tech guy.
Elijah to show you how to do
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
He can
Yeah,
show you.
that's right. Get the youngest person, or gets, that's how
Yeah.
you do it. Get the teens.
and I get the eye roll with it. Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always nice. That eye roll just keeps you humble, doesn't it? You're like, the
It
eye
does
roll.
indeed. Yes.
All right, tell us what
Right.
else is going on. Are you out and about doing shows? What?
Yeah, here and there, just kind of keeping it local right now, and just doing little pop-up shows here and there. So that's been fun, and just mainly I've been doing a lot of podcasting. That's like been my main focus. I started the podcast. I'm coming up on a year of doing it, and it just keeps morphing. Like where I first started, I was like, I'll just kind of get on there and talk. And then I was
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have comedians on there. And then I was like, oh, I want to have all these people that I like watch, or things that I find interesting. I would like to have the conversation with certain people. So um, that's been kind of something I've kind of pivoted and had the opportunity. I got to have Pastor Arthur Pulowski. I don't know if you guys know who he is. He's that Canadian pastor who was like shouting at the Canadian police, to get out of his church.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
During the global pandemic, when
Yeah.
you were on such lockdown in Canada. So, and I've been able to reach out to a few people and just, open it up for the conversation. People that I'm like, man, I really find that person interesting, or whatever their story. And I kind of started really following his story during the Canadian trucker, the Freedom Convoy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I started watching what was happening in Canada, and became very, just kind of drawn to how everything went down and how it was reported, and seeing Justin Trudeau say one thing, but then you have other channels where you're actually watching what's really happening, and you're like,
Mhm.
this isn't matching up. And I kind of found him, one of his speeches, Pastor Arthur's speeches to some of the truckers there in Canada, and he just gave this incredible really, I don't know what you call it. Maybe it's a mini sermon, or just one of those like pep talks, I guess, but it was so
Mhm.
moving and so powerful. And he actually did get arrested a few days later
Wow.
because of that. But I had already asked him to be on the show. I saw that and I was like, you know what? I'm going to ask him to be on the show. And he agreed. And I was like, super cool. But something in my spirit was like, I just had this feeling that the way things were happening there, I'm like, man, I think they're about to arrest a lot of these truckers and anybody associated with this Freedom Convoy. And sure enough, he was in jail for 51 days, I believe.
Wow.
And I felt really kind of like so I went to the Canadian consulate here in Atlanta to at least I was just kind of seeing what was happening. I was like, well, I'm going to go tell them they've arrested this Canadian pastor. The way they treated this man, it's unbelievable. If you get to hear his story of what's happening there, and just in the jails and Canada, and the way they treated him in solitary confinement, and the humiliation, and the other Canadian jailers basically inciting other inmates to attack him.
Hmm.
Wow.
And just you wouldn't think something like this would be coming out of Canada, just right above us, our neighbors there. But I felt very drawn to watch what was happening there, just because I started kind of watching what was happening here in the United States. But it's quite interesting, and just kind of talking about the Freedom Convoy and some of the mandates, and just a lot of stuff that we've kind of been watching unfold. But you start kind of realizing this isn't just a United States issue or Canadian issue. This
Yeah.
is a nation global issue.
Yeah.
A lot of overreach has been happening and the government systems all over. And
Mhm.
it's been really sad and watching all of this unfold. So I'm very much drawn to everything that's kind of happening and seeing where, how things are going to play out. And so yeah, so my podcast has kind of taken that turn to be like, I just kind of want to have the conversations, not only with just comedians. I love that because, it's fun to get on and just have a good time. But there's a part of me that's super drawn to like, hey, what's going on in the world and how is that going to affect us here? And so I've been able to have, different people on that, may see some things a little different than maybe what's being reported on mainstream media. But I'm having a good time and enjoying the conversation. So
That's good.
yeah.
The serious side of Jen.
The serious side, and I'm like,
Yes.
it's there, like, I can't help it,
Mhm.
I'm super you guys know what I've been doing the last 2 years, so,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
been,
Yeah.
waking up here, and,
Well,
Awesome.
where else can they hear or see your
Mhm.
podcast? We got to go to a break here in a second.
Sure, it's just the Jennifer O'Brien Show, and it's wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, it's on or if you wanna watch it, YouTube, I don't usually put everything on Facebook. Anyway,
Yeah.
I put some stuff there. Facebook's fine. I'm just not a fan of Zuckerberg anymore.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of pulling back off certain social media sites, although who cares, right? I mean, but anyway, yeah. So wherever you listen to podcasts, you can check it out. And
Do you
yeah.
send out cassettes of it? Could you send me a cassette,
You
Jen?
want a cassette? Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
All right, check it out. We got to have Jen back in a few months and see what's going on. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
This is Faith Talk Live.